What's to become of me then? Am I to be your prisoner?
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. This video is gonna be a little...
She looks suspicious. Is that yours?
I don't know.
Man, that wrapper didn't get there by itself. So if you could just like, lean over and, you know.
Growing up in a post
9/11.
digital era,
What about our traffic problem?
I got a document warrant.
Enough!
I've had the privilege to virtually witness the various push and pulls and narrative shifts the wide net internet culture has presented, as well as the many different systematic changes and newly regulated laws manifested by the rise of social media and the dominant control of big tech.
パンツ何色でしょうか？
何聞いてんだ。
確か今日は。
Today, I want to discuss something which many of us participate in, yet rarely ever acknowledge: the concept of pastel-coated violence, theorized by Noura Tafeche. Essentially, the various ways different online groups, internet subcultures, and even industrial military complexes glorify and fetishize violence and militarization. That's so hard to say. Through social media. Western art and media for centuries has glorified horrific atrocities through a means of aesthetical devices. In the age of the contemporary, online spaces use this beautifying practice through memes and characters. Think about OCs with unrealistic expectations, but we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Now, at this point, it might seem like I'm attacking Western culture and OC culture, but I promise you that is not the case. This is just merely an examination of the process. For a better understanding of this, we first need to examine a different aesthetical culture: Kawaii culture. Kawaii, the Japanese phenomenon which translates in English to cute or adorable, is argued to have spawned in response to the rigid hierarchical society of a post-World War II Japan. First gaining popularities in the 70s among many young people as a form of self-expression. This would usually be done through cheap stationery goods, which were low cost and easy to manufacture, which perfectly coincided with the rise of consumerism and the socio-political shift towards mass media. Tafeche states, Kawaii serves as a poignant metaphor for the universal human experience of vulnerability, expressed through the act of seeking comfort in objects that affirm our needs. It wasn't until the 90s where Kawaii culture started gaining traction among Western consumers, with the rise of popularity in intellectual property icons such as Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty doesn't like Xanax or knives or any of those awful things that you post her with.
And of course, anime as a whole.
Oh no, it's raining.
Hey, I know. I'll use my trusty frying pan as a drying.
Kawaii culture primarily lives today through online communities, private collections, and principles and aesthetics. The 90s also saw the commercialization of girl power, or the commodification of female independence and empowerment. This was done through girl-powered themes and products, often targeted towards young girls, in order to express their individuality through consumerism, rather than self-expression by any means of political action. This commercialization is primarily linked to the rise of neoliberal capitalism. However, the commodification of girl power was a massive cultural shift from the traditionally Western masculine cultural norms, which previously dominated the mainstream. With the rise of the internet and the shift from mass media to more cultural subgenres, this would bring upon the age of cultural objectification, often portraying unobtainable and hypersexualized beauty standards. Tafeche believes that e-girl was used as a slur on gaming sites, where a woman gamer could be objectified and become a target for derision, threats, and doxing for merely being a part of the community. Nowadays, the term is believed to have somewhat of a reclamation due to Gen Z. However, we can still examine other subcultures, such as waifus and lolicons, which are just as harmful, if not more.
Fine, I guess you are my little PogChamp. Come here.
You! Get your ass off my bus!
The terms waifu and husbando come from a play on words between English and Japanese, in which favorite women and men characters hold a special meaning or place in a person's heart. Waifu culture deals with the idolization of female characters, where it often falls into predation. One may believe it is inherently neutral, yet it can be easily twisted into catering to pedophilic standards when introduced with lolicons. Lolicon, or Roricon, is used to describe manga, anime, and games that feature underage characters in sexual and sometimes violent situations. The nature of this community in itself is morally and objectively wrong and disturbing. Now let's quickly talk about military-industrial complexes. Eisenhower knew that an immense military establishment would alter the structure of our society, potentially leading to a disastrous rise of misplaced power, which could ultimately threaten our liberties and democratic processes. Nowadays, military establishments produce propaganda via various social media campaigns. For example, the Israeli Defense Force's multiple TikTok accounts, where individuals sexualize their appearance for a propagated interplay of military war propaganda and beautification. This weakens, mitigates, minimizes, replaces, or even erases the violent components inscribed in the system, says Tafeche. It is important to examine the ways in which military-industrial complexes utilize media platforms to promote their interests, and to consider the impacts these campaigns have on the broader socio-political landscape. It is essential to recognize the implications these forms of media represent, as they perpetuate harmful ideologies and contribute to a cycle of discrimination and violence within our society as a whole. I'd also like to quickly bring attention to the fact that when I initially wrote this essay, it was all the way back in August of 2023. Do with that information as you will. Despite what some may say, change can be made. Life is perspective, and it is what you make it. As cheesy as that may be to hear, we are all in this together. So as we navigate these unwarranted and uncertain times, it's best to do so while being knowledgeable and informed. I know this isn't my typical style of videos, but I do sincerely hope you got something out of it, and perhaps you might have even enjoyed it. Let me know if that was the case. But that's gonna do it for this one. This has been Shookey. Hope you have a great day of love. And as always, thank you for watching, and take care.